Jackson, what are we? Some kind of Gemini Man?
Yeah, we're still angry.
Some kind of bored and annoyed?
What we are is still angry about the Packers-Lions game on Monday night.
Oh, boy. Are we just jumping right in? You know what? My name is Home at the Movies. Let's do this professionally.
And I'm Jackson.
And this is Bored and Annoyed. Bored and Annoyed.
Yeah, with the NFL. Ooh.
Oh, there's our topic for the week.
There you go. Yeah, no, I figured I'd say my piece.
Right, go for it.
So if we're a movie podcast, but
context here is important.
Yeah,
Jackson is a Lions fan.
Right.
I am a Packers fan. They just played on Monday Night Football.
That's true.
It was a game.
It was a disaster is what it was. So, I keep spending my money to go watch these games, right? That's part of what bothers me about this. So on Thursday last week, I'm like, what the hell? Let me see what tickets are. 50-yard line seats, pretty good price. So I'm, hit up a couple buddies. Hey, you want to go to the game? Somebody wants to go. So yeah, go into Lambeau Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is going to be a good game.
Right.
The game's happening and the Lions aren't scoring touchdowns. So immediately I'm like, this is just going to end in disaster.
Right.
I thought it would be more disaster of their own making.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they did set themselves up for disaster, but
with all the field goals.
Right. With all the field goals instead of touchdown, they kicked 5 field goals.
Yeah.
And they had 3 turnovers to the Packers.
Packers had 3.
Yeah, right. Packers had 3 turnovers.
They
Lions
had none.
forced 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
Lions had none. So 3-0 turnover ratio,
which is insanity.
They turn it into 9 points.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, with 10 minutes left in the game.
Right.
They sack Aaron Rodgers at like his own 40. It would have been 4th and 21 with 10 minutes left in the game. They have to punt and they're down by 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hands to the face penalty. I'm at the game, so I don't see this like with clarity.
I sort of wondered why there wasn't anything on Facebook immediately.
Yeah. No, I started getting texts from people, Packer fans saying, "Oh, you got fucked on that one. Like, that was terrible."
Right.
So, yeah, so that happens. I'm like, oh, great. And then, so that's 7 points.
Yep.
So let's start doing the math here.
Right.
Okay, so that's 7 points right there.
Yep.
You can't argue that they would have gotten that 7 points, at least not with 10 minutes left. At best, they would have gotten that 7 points with like 8 minutes left or 7, probably less than 8 minutes.
Right.
Let's say it takes 2 minutes to get the ball back.
Sure.
All right. So they they score the touchdown, and then the Lions throw a deep pass to Marvin Jones. He's clearly hit before the ball gets there. There's a ref standing right there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't throw a flag for interference. And Matt Patricia doesn't challenge the interference because they don't turn it over.
They don't turn it over.
Yeah.
That's the bigger issue with that one, is that why did we even introduce this? They're just not overturning it out of spite at this point. I think
they've said 20 out of the last 21 have stayed.
Right.
With what was on the field. Now, it's funny. I know everybody hates Skip Bayless, but he brought up a good point that like now these corners, like they're just kind of mugging people because I have a feeling.
I've seen worse than what happened on that play.
Sure.
Like a lot worse. Granted,
but
they were called though.
Right. Yeah. Well, but my point is like, it almost seems like the refs have this weird complex now because I haven't seen as many pass interference calls this year, not just ones that weren't reviewed, but I'm not seeing them as often.
It's almost like they got together and were like, we're not going to open the floodgates for this. Like, there's a new rule. It's implemented. It now deals directly with us and challenging our authority.
Right. No, totally. And now I was standing there thinking, okay, well, there's like 7 minutes left in the game now. I feel like Patricia should and has to challenge this. Mm-hmm. But then I kind of understand why he doesn't, because you only have 3 timeouts. Mm-hmm. If you need one of those and you know that they don't overturn anything, why even try?
Yeah.
So that's his thought process, I think.
It's not entirely flawed.
No, it's not. No. So he doesn't, whatever. They end up, I believe they punted on that drive. So it's 22-20 at this point. The Packers get the ball. This is the final drive.
Yes.
There's like 2 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
They get it all the way down to like the 15-yard line or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's third down. So it's another third down stop. They stopped him again. And they call the same player for an illegal hands to the face. A guy who has never been called for this in his entire career.
It's one of those ones where when I saw it on replays, I'm like, depending on the angle, I could see it. But the second that you see it from the right angle, you're like, well, it's just the pads.
Okay, so that is the argument I've heard a lot where people are saying, well, his head goes back. It looks like your typical hands to the face. But my problem with that is like, I understand that for calls that you miss. When you don't throw a flag on something you didn't see.
Right.
But my thought is, if you're throwing a flag for a penalty, one of the requirements is that you saw the infraction happen.
This is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
no,
you can miss a call. Like, and that sucks too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But at least you have like the excuse of like, oh, I didn't see it.
And your point being at the end of this very long, not even a diatribe, just long passionate breakdown is that games should not be decided by the refs.
Yeah. And I mean, this one was basically they had no timeouts left. So the Packers can kneel on the ball at this point and just end the game.
Right.
Okay. So you have a 7-point swing in what ends up being a 1-point game.
Yeah.
And the Lions don't even get the chance to have the ball back at the end to possibly get in field goal range again, which for Matt Prater, as shown on Monday night, is like getting to midfield. That's field goal range.
Yeah.
He can, I mean, both of those 50-yarders looked like they would have been good from 65 yards.
Right.
You know, so the argument I hear all the time is like the Lions, if they would have scored touchdowns, then you've got a situation where they don't need, it doesn't matter. They did it to themselves. But my problem is that's bullshit because there's a lot of close games in the NFL and one or two plays makes the difference in the game. And when the refs are making those plays and they're incorrect, the player didn't do anything to deserve the foul.
Yeah.
They fucked them. I mean, sure, you're right. Detroit didn't play very well. They played like shit on offense for 3/4 of the game. But guess what? The Packers weren't playing well either. They turned the ball over 3 times. And odds are, I haven't looked, but I would imagine the probability of the Packers winning that game if they have to punt with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter drops dramatically.
Sure. I don't. The problem with anything like this is we never really know how it would have played out had those things not happened. And it's always the would have been different, probably right. Like 95%.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Probably right. But as a Packer fan, I mean, my takeaway from the game was this is what division games look like. They are ugly. We make each other look worse because it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a pressure situation or what it is, but I mean, I didn't think either team looked particularly good.
I would agree, but the Packers didn't have any receivers. So.
That's part of it, yeah. I mean, the amount of dropped passes in there.
It's just classic Lions. I'm just watching it all fall apart.
Right.
But I will say, most of the Packer fans I have spoken to, and this is rare, agree that they got jobbed. That's rare. So I am impressed by that. People, the other side of it, who are sending me still shots of pictures of the screen where the penalty's happening, where it looks like the Lion's hand is near the helmet,
right,
where it's like, okay, that's not proof, bud.
Right.
Everyone saw it with their own eyes. Both of those flags were bullshit. You just need, as a fan, any sports team, when the refs help you, you go, look, I'm happy that you got fucked. You did get fucked, but I'm happy about it. Right. You don't be honest about it. You didn't get fucked.
Right.
That's ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be honest too. Like this is a shitty. It's not even a consolation prize. It's just a thought. But I am always nervous as a Packers fan playing the Lions. I know there are a lot of Packers fans. Oh, it's just the Lions and blah, blah. I'm like, do you have any idea how many close games we have had with the Lions and how many times the Lions have like gotten to Aaron Rodgers and messed with him or injured him,
giving him a couple concussions?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I actually respect everybody in the division. I mean, I don't like the Bears. The Bears are just but mostly it's the fact that the Bears fans like act like they've done something.
Sorry, Chicago listeners.
I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, Bears fans are the fucking worst. Like, you could say Packer fans are terrible because they're arrogant.
I
or
live
whatever.
Here and have to deal with them.
Right.
All the
And
time.
you have to deal. Yeah. You have a very different perspective.
Right.
In living. Yeah.
Yes.
But Bears fans just act like they're the fucking shit. And it's like, who have been your quarterbacks? When's the last time you won a Super Bowl? I mean,
we've never won one, but I don't act like we have.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, right.
Lions fans, I mean, they're the most downtrodden fans, like, basically in the NFL.
Close. Well, no, it was funny because you're saying you were worried about, or are a little worried when you play the Lions. And I was thinking back, like, I feel like there have been so many controversial bullshit losses for us against the Packers that I just can't even take it anymore. I've lost the will to live when it comes to Packers Lions. I've lost it.
I mean, I can't
take it.
I look at you and you're all in though. Like, you can't change.
No.
There's no course correcting for you as a sports fan. Like, you can't just be like, I'm a Dolphins fan now.
Or I'm not going to watch I love that. Like, I'm not going to watch the game anymore. Can't do it. Nope. It's impossible.
Addicted.
It's really bad. And it pisses me off because it makes me mad because they have their hooks in me. And really, like, the only way you change this kind of low quality bullshit, like these officials,
right.
And I want to make it clear, they suck this year, period. Mm-hmm. They suck. They're inept. And if you look on social media and type in Detroit Lions right now, everyone, it's like, it's one of those things where it's not like, it's a unanimous like media, national media, ex-players, current players are disgusted with them. They suck. And the NFL is going to keep doing it unless you stop.
Unless you stop watching. You have to speak.
Not gonna happen.
You have to speak with your wallet.
It's true.
I mean,
it's true.
But it's the
like
society.
You Marvel haters.
Yeah.
Stop going to Marvel movies.
Stop going. I don't want you there.
But yes, that's enough about football. This is a movie podcast.
Yeah, we do have some movie news.
Bringing you the most important and the most entertaining news that you will get all day. It's the movie news with a couple of rabble-rousers, Jackson and Home at the Movies. It's Bored and Annoyed with the news.
So we've got some Batman casting news.
I heard Jonah's not taking the...
Jonah's out.
Okay.
He's no longer in talks. Now it's apparent that Seth Rogen is being courted for the Penguin.
Okay.
And in addition to his casting, we also have Zoe Kravitz is going to be Catwoman.
Oh, yes. I heard that.
Yeah.
So we have a multi-villain movie.
It sounds like it, which is...
And it's Penguin and Catwoman.
It's lending credence to the idea we might actually get The Long Halloween. Or something close to it.
That would be neat.
Yes.
Or we'll get Batman Returns remake.
No, thank you.
Catwoman and Penguin.
No, thank you. I'm good on that. Thoughts on these casting choices?
I like Zoe Kravitz. She's not like ever the star of anything. I haven't watched her HBO show. I forget what that's called. But I like her. I didn't like her in the Harry Potter movie, I guess, because she played a boring character like the rest of the boring characters in that movie.
She was bad in that, yeah. I would say she was bad.
But I don't hate her. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
I saw her in Rough Night, the Scarlett Johansson movie.
Oh, yeah.
And she was the worst performer in that movie, in my opinion.
So you're not...
I'm not a Zoe Kravitz fan.
Okay.
So... I'm starting to get a little worried.
But we do have Ed Cullen.
Yes.
I like him.
God damn, you keep referring to him as that. We've got Ed Cullen and Seth Rogen is going to, pot smoke it up. And
yeah, that's funny. So they went after Jonah Hill and ended up on Seth Rogen. Is that what's happening here?
I guess so.
So who's next if he turns it down? Like James Franco? and then you keep going down the line. Actually, no, if you're going to get him, you should get James Franco to play the Riddler.
Absolutely.
Just go
That's
all
not
in.
even a perfect casting. I like that.
Just go all in on it. Yeah.
You know what? And I shouldn't shit on Seth Rogen. I like Seth
him.
Rogen.
Yeah, I like him too.
I don't know if he's the Penguin, but we'll see. Whatever.
Hey,
Doesn't
you can
fucking
make
matter.
whatever you do with the Penguin, just make it work for Seth Rogen, I guess.
It's just the first time that I've actually had some caution about this movie since it started. So,
who's directing it again?
a guy who did the Planet movies, Planet of
Yeah.
the Apes. So that's where my
Not
faith.
the first Planet movie
No.
who made that shit sci-fi movie, right?
No, this the last two.
The last two. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that was
I still
fucking disaster.
still like the first one.
I
though.
know, but that I was excited because of that, and it was a disaster.
I don't even. What was that movie?
I don't know. It was the one with like the aliens that colonized the Earth. I talked about it on the podcast.
Okay.
Captive State. Captive State was the name of it. John Goodman.
Oh, right.
Sucked.
Well, there you go.
A disaster.
Let's see. We got Matrix 4 casting. So Neil Patrick Harris is in talks.
Okay.
And
It's funny. I can picture him like in a suit, like doing some weird Matrix character, like some AI.
I think it'd be.
character.
I think he is a great casting for this.
Sure.
And we've got your favorite actress from the Iron Fist series, Jessica Henwick,
Is that the Asian girl?
the Asian. Yeah.
She's in the Matrix.
Yes. In a lead role.
All right.
How you
You know what? What's nice is I have no hopes for this movie.
Okay.
So I really don't give a shit.
Okay.
Right? I mean, it can only surprise me.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And that show, who was good on that show? Besides the villain in the first season, because I like that actor. I
Iron
like
Fist?
Irish dude.
Oh, right. The guy who played Fenrir?
Yeah, Faramir.
Faramir.
Yeah, that guy.
Fenrir. That's another thing from another magic thing.
Everyone else I feel like in that show was not good.
I would agree. No, you know what? The Sun.
Okay.
The Sun was good. Those two were good.
Yeah, because they actually had something interesting to do.
Yeah.
Unlike Asian karate school lady who literally
After
heals
school
his
special.
wounds.
After school special, the karate teacher.
Yeah,
Jesus
well, we'll
Christ.
see how she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the Frozen 2 trailer?
No, I've never seen Frozen, so I have no.
Oh, goddamn.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen
Is it
Frozen.
good?
It's okay.
Frozen is it's okay. It's not
It's got the song.
okay. Let It Go. I know
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie, but
It's
I know
fine.
that song.
Did you see the Jungle Book or Jungle Cruise trailer?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't.
Okay. I watched it. I watched
Welcome
it.
to a very unique trailer time.
It looks bad.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like Emily Blunt. I like The Rock. It looks like it's geared towards a young audience. Not stoked for it.
Okay.
What's
Neither
next?
am I.
What's next?
Did you see the Dr. Dolittle trailer?
Yes, I did. I am kind of stoked for this one.
Yeah. I'm on board for this one.
Just because it's him, though.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
That's a big part of it. I will say, as far as a Dr. Dolittle movie goes, I was like, this actually looks kind of badass in a way that I did not expect a Dolittle
it looks
movie.
weird.
Yeah. Like he's
Not
talking
Eddie Murphy in modern days talking to...
Right. Well, and he goes on this weird journey where he's in different countries and
Yeah.
says hi to a tiger, and the tiger says hi lunch or something like that.
That is exactly what happens. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, so I'm strangely excited for that. This is the briefest of trailer times. We are not going
What's
in depth.
the next trailer time?
That's it.
That's it?
I mean, it was, if you had time, I don't know if you had 3 hours to spare, but Disney released a everything that's coming to Disney Plus 3-hour trailer.
Shut up.
No. YouTube that shit right now.
I think I'll pass. They did a 3-hour trailer
Yeah.
put together by Disney.
I mean, it's not like... it's
Did
not
they
re-
release this?
It's not really a trailer. It's like highlights from every movie or whatever, but just with music over the top of like the whole thing.
But they released it.
Yes.
It wasn't like a fan. Like,
Nope.
When are we getting Disney Plus, by the way? When's The Mandalorian coming?
I think November 11th is when it it comes out. So like less than a month.
Sweet.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah, every time I see a new Mandalorian piece, I just get more and more excited.
There's that, and it's also got Gargoyles, which I'm just excited
the cartoon, really?
I'm stoked.
I liked Gargoyles back in the day.
It was a good show, so I'm kind of excited to sort of revisit some shit.
I didn't know that was a Disney thing. I guess it was on ABC, wasn't it, or something like that?
Well, I remember seeing a retrospective on it about how it was like this giant gamble for Disney because it was different than all of their other programming.
Yeah, I remember liking it. Now, did they do Darkwing Duck?
Yes, they did.
Is that on there?
I'm hoping so. That's you know what? I'm gonna old man for a second here. They don't fucking make kids cartoon themes like they used to.
Dude, that's the first thing. That's probably why I like that show.
Right.
Yeah.
Killer theme.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck.
I feel like themes started dying in the late 90s. The early 2000s.
I just Googled it and you pull up characters. Launchpad McQuack.
Launchpad McQuack. Yep. Everybody loves Launchpad. There was that robot one. He had like a unit cycle.
Yep.
Let's see here. What else do we have? Netflix is going to be adapting Jeff Smith's Eisner Award-winning comic book series Bone as an animated series. It's got that guy who's got like the giant nose and...
Okay, where am I? What am I looking at here?
The cartoon guy.
Okay, and
I don't know
anything about that, but I do know Darkwing Duck is coming to Disney Plus.
Score. It's the Disney Shill Show.
Yep. Disney, send your checks to me.
Please send them to me. I could use your checks. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know. We could talk about Martin Scorsese for a little bit if you want.
Oh, yeah. He pissed you off this time, didn't he?
Well, I mean, this time he took it to another level. So let's just quote him as to what he said. Saying something about like, it's not cinema, it's something else. And he started adding, this is like a new, like he was at like the BFI London Film Festival.
Okay.
And he said, we shouldn't be invaded by it, talking about Marvel movies. We need cinemas to step up and show films that are narrative films. Okay, well, that's a really weird way to describe it, but I'll just continue. Let's see here. Said something about superhero films and superhero blockbusters, saying that is fine and good for those who enjoy that type of film. And by the way, knowing what goes into them now, I admire what they do. You now know? It's been like 2 days. You watch some special features, Marty? Okay.
Yeah, what did he think went into them?
You think we just like threw shit at the screen? Okay. Anyways, it's not my kind of thing. It simply is not. It's creating another kind of audience that thinks cinema is that. And I say there are a couple things. One, I still stick by this is very close to Jaws or Back to the Future tonally. They're adventure romps and they have a little bit of everything for everybody. That is nothing new. That has existed for literally like basically at this point 50 years. So it's not new to cinema. So you can suck a dick on that one, Marty. The other one is this whole cinemas need to do better thing. Now, I'm really just unloading on this one. This is fucking bullshit. Jackson's just looking at me like, oh, this is
what I was hoping for last week.
This gets me, though. When he says we need cinemas to step up and show films that are narrative films. One, these films have narratives. Now, you can think they're a little cookie cutter at times, and maybe they are.
Yeah, that's dumb that he says that. I don't understand what he means by that.
But the thing that I really don't like, and the thing that I will compare it to, is the idea that I was kind of big into like alternative like indie rock or whatever in the early 2000s. Like Coheed was my big band for a long time. But I don't go on and say that the pop station needs to start playing Coheed. We need to expect more from radio. No. I understand that my thing is a niche thing. It's not for everybody, and that's fine because guess what? Music is music. And radio is radio. And I don't get to go and say, well, that's not radio.
Yeah, but you have like your own station that plays that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we have cinemas that play his movies, and we have Netflix, and we have, and you know what?
I don't know about
all that
this one.
shit is out there.
I don't know about this one.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if I agree with this comparison. I agree with you that that's dumb because the cinemas are going to put in the screens whatever people want to see.
But you're also saying that your taste is what the real art form, the real medium is. And anything other than your taste is not that thing.
No, I understand. I get that part of your argument, but I don't like the comparison of Coheed on Z104 or whatever your pop radio station is, because you can get it at another station, whereas like
actually Coheed is not played on any station in Madison.
Okay. But my point would be like this weekend, we're not getting The Lighthouse or Jojo Rabbit at all. And it's probably because there's big budget monstrosities, which I get it.
The real reason, and we talked about this before the show, is because we had a big old government intervention when AMC bought Starbucks. I said Starbucks.
Starbucks? Yeah, no. We had Star Cinema. AMC bought it, and then they bought Sundance, and they had to sell the old Star
because
Cinema.
They had too many cinemas per square mile for our area, and that's what fucked us. It's not that those cinemas aren't there.
No, but if we had more, there's plenty of AMCs, I bet, playing The Lighthouse this
and we're
weekend.
still going to get The Lighthouse, and we're still going to get
a week late.
A week late. But that's nothing new either with these rollout releases, these big sort of plays in New York, plays in LA, maybe plays in Chicago, and then it has a wider dispersed
the point
release.
is, okay, let's say, I mean, even if you own one of the theaters around here and you have a shot at getting The Lighthouse a week early, but you have to take something off the screen that's going to get more asses in the seat.
Right.
Why should the theater do that? What are you asking them to do, Mr. Scorsese? Right. Are you asking them to just give away money?
Just like, why would they stop playing what's her blondie face? What's her name?
Gwen Stefani?
Taylor Swift. Okay. Good old Twaylor. I don't know why. Anyways,
yeah, they're not going to stop playing
her for Coheed.
Right now, you know who it is? Every time you go on the pop station, they have like 17 singles, I swear, is that Chainsmokers group.
Oh, goddamn.
They're on constantly.
It's why I don't listen to, you know what? It's one of those things where you just stop listening to the radio and then you're like, I need a fucking human connection.
Sure.
I should listen to something local.
I should listen to Bored and Annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah. Human connection. I'm here for you.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't agree with them. People, you know, it's funny because you want to blame him, but you know someone brought it up.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he made a dumb comment. Of course people are going to bring it up.
True. That's true. But everybody should just shut up and leave Marty alone.
No. Marty, you're fucking wrong. Shut your mouth. I saw...
he makes really good movies, though.
Yep. Wrong people can make good things, too.
That's true.
What's his name? Not Donald Glover. The one from Back to the Future?
Michael J. Fox?
No, the dad. Last name Glover.
Oh, Crispin
Glover. No. What? I don't know what that was.
Donald Glover, Danny Glover.
Crispin Glover actually kind of came out and said like, oh, it's propaganda. I saw him on Collider.
Sure.
He's like, oh, it's military propaganda is what these
Marvel is?
Marvel movies, superhero movies.
He's a wacko.
Yeah.
I listened to him I can't remember if it was on Collider, but he's been doing the circuits. I've heard a few interviews with him and he's talking about how his likeness was used in Back to the Future Part 2 and people still think it's him.
Yeah.
And how that so awfully affected his career. And I kind of agree with him, but like, you're still talking about this?
How has it awfully affected your career?
Because his point is that the way that actor played the character using my likeness, like a prosthetic or whatever, he thought that performance sucked and he doesn't want to be associated with that. But because of the way they made it and they didn't like make it obvious, like you probably would have had to sit through the credits, that people don't know.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. He's kind of a weirdo, but It's an interesting thing.
I would argue that maybe the way he carried himself for his entire career might actually have more to do with his problems with his career.
That could be true, but like, okay, so I was thinking like Batman versus Superman. Like, I would assume Michael Shannon got paid to use his likeness for the dead corpse body of General Zod, correct?
Sure, probably.
So if you're going to take an actor and put a prosthetic
sounds like
on
maybe
him,
he should have gotten a better legal team.
that's probably true. That's true. It was the 80s. People flying by the seat of their pants.
I understand what he's trying to do. The problem I see with Crispin Glover is that he's one of these like, and I'm a pretty left-leaning fucking guy, but he's one of these far left. There's a conspiracy theory. You're being brainwashed by every movie that you see. And it's like, you know what? But people with different agendas and different beliefs are making movies all the time. And also, a lot of them happen to be left-leaning anyways.
Most of them, I would say.
So
yeah.
can we get off of this whole like, oh, because...
Hold on. He said Marvel was a pro-military
superhero movies in general.
Okay.
They feed the idea that our intervention as a U.S. force is good and necessary, and we are good and other people are bad. And I'm like, but the whole goddamn point of like, say, an Avengers movie is that it's a people from different walks of life coming together to fight an objectively bad person.
That's really dumb. Like, there's not supposed to be good versus evil anymore.
Right.
Period. I mean, essentially, like...
I mean, and you can't deny...
No mythology
like,
anymore.
There is a certain point of like, okay, predominantly the heroes tend to be from America.
Well, that's where they were all fucking conceived.
Right, and created. But I mean, there's still Black Panther. There's still... oh God,
the Russian lady.
There's still Black Widow. There's still Thor, who's space.
Oh,
whatever.
He's American though. Look at him.
With his accent,
he's just as American as it gets.
Yeah,
they're all as American as it gets. Shit, they wouldn't even like.
There's Korg.
Like they didn't. Yeah, I don't know. That's a. I don't know. I just think that's dumb.
Yeah, I'm just tired of this. Just let it be. Like you're all such old cranky men shaking your goddamn cane. Get off my lawn.
Well, what if Marvel called Crispin Glover to be like a villain or something? He'd take the job immediately.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too.
I mean, if you want to complain about your career not being what it could be, why would you deny a movie like that?
I mean, he did play Grendel in Beowulf.
It's true. Yeah, that
and he
probably
was the bad guy in Charlie's Angels. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Oh God. I wonder why your career isn't what you thought it would be, Crispin.
I mean, nobody knew he was Grendel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you do a shitty movie like Charlie's Angels.
I love Beowulf. I think that's an underrated movie.
It is, but nobody knows it's him.
Right.
So it doesn't count.
He played the one character who doesn't look like the actor.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. Cry me them tears.
I have one bit of news.
Okay, what's that?
So The Lighthouse comes out this weekend for the lucky people.
Yes.
And not for me. So apparently Robert Eggers, the director of that and The Witch, already has his next movie.
What's that?
And it's cast.
What?
It's a Viking movie, The Northman.
Yes.
And it's Willem Dafoe, both of the Skarsgårds, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Nicole Kidman.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, pretty good.
Let's do this. I am so on board. This is great.
Yeah, so I was pretty pumped when I read that.
There's not enough Viking movies, in my opinion.
And if it's like a Viking horror story, I'm in. Yeah.
You remember The 13th Warrior? Antonio Banderas?
Okay, do you like that movie?
I think it's got some badass moments.
Okay, I watched that once, like, probably 15, 16, 17 years ago, somewhere in that range.
Right.
Everybody tells me they like it. I thought it was fucking awful, but maybe I need to watch it again.
It's got some
fun
fun shit in it.
If I remember correctly, it has one of those endings where it just kind of ends.
Yeah, I don't think the ending's great.
Okay. Maybe, Banderas, right?
Yeah.
Who else is in that? Is it just...
It's kind of just him. It's kind of just him and, like, I think Scandinavian actors. I think they mostly got Scandinavian people. I think it was a great representation of Vikings, though. They are badass.
Yeah, I love a good Viking story.
Yeah. Nothing makes you feel like less of a man than watching dudes with axes.
Yes, I would agree.
Run around.
They're pretty badass.
Yeah.
They're pretty badass. But yeah, that's his next movie. That's all I got.
I'm stoked for that.
I mean, I haven't even seen the second one.
We haven't even seen the
but it looks great.
and The Witch was good.
But apparently they must believe in this guy because he's got a stacked cast now.
That is a stacked cast. I would be interested to see how big the budget is on that.
Probably small. It's probably another A24. I'm assuming. I mean,
is it going to be a horror?
I don't know. I don't have
solidified?
any other information, Alex. This is breaking news. This is brand new.
Breaking on this
it's
podcast.
Horror. I would assume it's horror, but
okay. Fun.
Yeah, it does sound fun, even though I know nothing about it.
Yep, let's go.
Could be about modern day people who think they're Vikings because they're all in a mental institution.
I'm game for that too.
That sounds even better. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for news.
Yeah. So what are we going to talk about? Some sort of Gemini Man?
Yeah, Gemini Man. Ang Lee directed Gemini Man.
Yes.
He's a big believer in that 120 frames per second or 60 frames per second or whatever the fuck it was.
Big fan of like CGI things.
Yeah, and it is hideous.
Yeah, this movie sucked.
And you didn't even see it like that, and you hated it too, right?
Yeah, well, it's just a bad movie.
Well, it's, this is something where, and by the way, I did review this with the Scene It Cast boys, so look them up, Scene It Cast movie reviews. But anyways, this is one of those movies that it never gets bad enough in the way where it's like turns around on itself and becomes fun to watch.
Agreed.
It's just a slog. It's just boring. I have to admit, I fell asleep at one point for like 5 minutes.
I almost did.
And it wasn't even deep into the movie. It was like 20 minutes in.
Yeah, mine was closer to the 45 mark, but yeah.
I mean, it is garbage.
I kept looking at it and thinking like, I don't understand why like your main premise is set up as a reveal like in like the second act. Like your main premise is it's Will Smith versus Will Smith.
Right.
And they treat that like it's a surprise.
Yeah, you advertised it that way. Good point.
Why?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just a small nugget of one of the many problems.
There's so much they don't do with that premise too.
Right.
Like they don't go into like the moral quandary of the premise. It's just you see little bits of them apart from each other. There's a monologue the villain gives at the end that's like, oh, this would have been an interesting idea for the plot. Like have this be the thing that's the problem.
Yep.
Or, the question. Or whatever, but no, it's just a cartoon Will Smith. And by the way, did you find that he looked worse in some scenes than others? Like certain scenes,
the CGI.
on
certain
the young
scenes,
Will Smith.
Certain scenes, spot on. You're like,
that's pretty good.
There's Big Willie, and then other ones, you're like, who is this alien that's on the screen?
Dude, the final scene in this is like,
God.
The thing that ruins it is you're sitting there and you're like, no, nobody would be talking to this person. They would be scared to death. It's like freaky looking.
Yes. I love how he moves too, because I kept thinking, I was like, they really needed to get a body double for him, but it seemed very clear to me that maybe
they
not
hooked
one.
him up with like the sensor shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the body double needs to exist so that like when he moves, his neck isn't bobbing around all the time. Sure. His clothes don't move in inorganic ways. But the last scene, it's
nothing's
so
happening
foreign
in the scene. It's like the most normal scene, and it looks the worst out of anything in the movie. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I looked at this movie and I thought, do you want to do grades?
I would give it like a D-.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Because it's not, like I said, it's like the worst kind of movie to see.
It's so incredibly boring.
Right.
I looked at this and I was like, somebody saw The Winter Soldier and wanted to have a very similar movie to The Winter Soldier. The introduction of young clone Will Smith is very Winter Soldier-esque.
It feels like, it's like one of those spy thriller kind of, And I would agree. That is what it felt like.
And then they tried to have it be like that big reveal like it is for Cap in that movie, the Winter Soldier's identity. None of it plays well because you don't give a shit about Will Smith as a character. He's stock assassin man. He has no personality whatsoever. He's devoid of character. He talks about ghosts and regretting the decisions he's made and all
we
that,
don't really know why though.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. It's like we're supposed to take the knowledge we have from like other spy movies that were better about like the spy who's kind of given up his life to pursue this job, and we're supposed to carry that over and infuse Will Smith with it.
Yes.
But they didn't give us any reason to care about Will Smith.
Yep.
We just know that we're supposed to care because this is a spy type movie, assassin spy deal.
Full on, 100% agree. And I just kept thinking, like, as the movie started, I was like, all right, this is not starting well. And I start doing like the thing that I do with shitty movies that have a bad beginning. I start trying to like reconfigure it in a way. I'm like, what could I do
to make it better?
To make it a good movie?
Sure.
I stopped about half an hour in. I was like, there's no saving this.
You could do stuff with the premise.
Yeah, but to me, it's like you can't even use the foundation of this house. You have termites. It's over. Start over. You need a new plot of land.
Okay. Yeah, no, and I've heard that there were multiple scripts for this that were like, there were some that were animated. It's like one of those movies that's been in development hell forever. And
why would you animate this movie?
I think it was something entirely different.
Okay.
Like, I think that originally the only thing that it was the concept of like, okay, Will Smith or whoever the actor that was going to be in it,
right,
has a younger clone.
Right.
I think that's I see this as like a missed opportunity because it's like, okay, movie premise. Assassin was cloned by government because Assassin was getting older and he was the best.
Right.
All right. There's got to be a way to make that good. A lot of ways you can make that good.
Yep.
This movie does nothing that I would have done.
Right.
It is a boring, stupid fucking movie.
Yes.
Because all of the like, if I'm doing a clone movie, it's all about like, is this morally okay to do?
Right.
And focusing a lot on like the horrors of the two people that would be involved in this. Mm-hmm. And they do a little bit with young, I guess, but like old it doesn't seem to affect him that
young
much.
Young and
right?
old.
Old Will Smith. Yeah.
It's just young and old.
Young and old. Yeah. So old Will Smith finds out. I didn't feel like it was like that big of a deal to him.
No. Well, and then he's like, man, they could have cloned anybody. Why didn't they clone a doctor or a? I don't know what stupid. And I was like, really? This is your first reaction?
Yes, you've been cloned. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this has a really terrible script. Like they keep doing like the whole like, cheers to the next war, may it never come, or something like that. And you're like, this is terrible.
And it's got that heist movie feel where like, okay, you have your one moment, like there's something happens and then like the three of them are sitting on the balcony, you know, the Asian guy from Doctor Strange or whatever with
Benedict Wong,
Mary Elizabeth Winstead and him, and they're just all sitting out there and it's like, okay, well, is this supposed to be like a cool vacationing scene? Yeah. What is this? Yep. And then you go on to the next thing. There aren't enough action scenes in the movie, I would say.
There's not enough to build any of the characters in any great way. Like I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
So do I.
I think she's a great actress, but she's given nothing. You know immediately. Now, to the movie's one credit that I'm going to give it, it gets it out of the way really quickly that she's an agent.
Sure.
Spoilers, I guess.
No,
but cares? I mean, if you're discerning,
the whole rest of this conversation, spoilers, but they're the spoilers. But who cares?
Yeah, I mean, nobody saw this movie.
Good.
This movie opened to like 20 mil.
Yeah, good. Glad.
Yep. Terrible train wreck of a investment for Paramount. Actually.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
Not surprised.
They'll
people
make it
who
all
run Transformers into the ground.
They did. They fucked it up.
But yeah, I when she's revealed to be an agent, it's just like it's like, well, of course, like Pretty Lady shows up when your regular guy's out. Like it's the first thing that came to my mind. And then like the whole like the guy, he goes out to the boat. It's like, of course he's gonna die. But they even tried to give him an action sequence for a second. You're like, don't do this. Don't insult my intelligence and try and make me think that there's an action sequence here. He's dead.
Yeah,
I know this movie. There is nothing that you can do to surprise me.
No, it was terrible. It was just an awful waste.
You know what was just hilarious, though? I went to see this, and so there's a third clone who comes in.
Oh, my God.
And it's kind of like one of those, like...
And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Jackson is visibly, he's rubbing his head out of pain.
It's so bad. The third clone shows up and you're like, well, wait a minute. I thought the whole idea was like this yin and yang, like this like moral quandary about these two clones. If you have a bunch of them, it ruins everything.
Right.
It's just dumb.
Well, you could even deal with the idea of like, oh, look what they did to a potential human. They've scarred him.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. And you could have handled that. And
so
that
who
could have
raised the third clone?
I don't think anybody raised him. I think he was just trained as a killing machine, treated, I don't
How
even
is
know,
that
like an
interesting?
animal. It's not. Well, you know what? It could be interesting because it deals with the idea of like, is there a soul still in him, or is he totally fucked up psychologically? But they're not interested in that. It's an action sequence meant to be able to have a shitty reveal at the end, but there is no reveal because the second he parkours CGI down the fucking stairs and shit, you're like, well, there's only one person that's been shown to do anything close to this in this movie, and it's Will Smith. So it's Will Smith again.
Well, and that's funny too, because that was like, does anybody care?
No.
Does anybody care who's watching them? Oh my God, there's the third.
It was great though in the theater because it's one of those moments where I don't know if this was a genuine reaction, but people, when this thing came on, the whole theater's, whoa!
No.
And I'm like, I don't know if this is real or I'm seeing like with the best audience who's like very aware.
It literally is a reveal within like 45 seconds of the character showing up. Like the reveal, the payoff, and the setup are like right there together. It's terrible.
It was really bad.
And then you get the Clive Owen moment where he talks about like, okay, and this was the stuff where you're like, you just told me how lazy you were. Like the whole monologue was like you telling me what movie you could have made. Like, because there's the part where he's like, he's talking about like, okay, well, you know, what about like all the families of children who wouldn't have to die in war? And, and he like starts listing all of this shit. And I'm sitting there like, wow, not a little late.
Not a half bad point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not a bad point. Would have been an interesting like character issue. It would have been something for your viewers to ponder. But instead, it's just the final monologue, like 3 seconds before he dies and the movie ends.
Yeah.
It's the... I hated this. I hated it.
I mean, there's so many bad lines in this. I mean, none of them are like on their face grown lines up until the very end, where Will Smith, we'll just stick with old and young.
Yep, that works best. Old
says to young, if you're fine, I'm fine. And I fucking lost it.
It was just...
I was like...
That sounds like you actually had a fun moment in the theater.
No, well, I mean, I did. At that point, I had been too bored for too long to consider that fun. I just audibly said, so that people next to me could hear me, I don't fucking care. It's the end of the movie. And it sucked, so fuck you. But I just said, oh my God. Probably about that loud, too.
Yeah, I mean, those are the best.
I couldn't believe. And then I just think about like the setup for like the character, like, oh, look at how meticulous he is. Look at how badass he is. He does this like really unbelievable thing by shooting a guy in a speeding train.
Okay.
And you're like, this is your shorthand. And then he's like with this sort of beta male bitch boy that we always see in these movies.
The Coke drinker or
the other guy who's like, setting up his kills or whatever. And he's like, man, nobody does it like you. Yeah. Nobody does it like you.
Hero worship shit. Yeah.
And it's like, this is shorthand for I'm a lazy writer and I don't show, like, I don't show, I tell.
Well, it's another thing. It reminds me of like you've talked about this before where it's like, I think it was one of the movies with The Rock. I think it was it was Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Where you were talking about how like The Rock goes back home and it's like, yeah, he fucked his family over, but of course it was to be a good guy.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't like he actually fucked up. So in this one, Will Smith fucks up, but it's because he shot the guy in the neck instead of the head.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just like have him completely fucking screw the pooch and not be the most amazing.
Do you understand how amazing the movie would have been if he had accidentally killed that little girl at
right.
the beginning? I mean,
that's interesting.
Movies are all about choices and the questions that those choices ask. And this asks nothing of its audience or its premise or anything.
Right. Until the end when the monologue comes and he literally asks us.
Yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not such a bad guy. And he's like, and then Will Smith does like such a stupid, like, oh, you make that choice, young, and you got ghosts.
Choice, young.
And then he shoots him himself, and it's just like, and it's so funny because my audience did go like, hey!
Oh my God, who'd you see? This is that Tuesday night.
It's the Tuesday night crowd. These people, man. I don't know who I'm seeing movies with. Either they are really with it or they're just gone.
I saw this one on Friday and it was with like 3 people in the theater and nobody said a word.
Packed theater on a Tuesday.
I bet.
Because I was sitting next to a father of probably 45, 50 who was with his teenage daughter. His teenage daughter was dragged along. She was listening to music.
No.
Yes. And playing on her phone. Now, we were in the back row, so it's like I actually kind of commend the dad for like just getting the back seats to let his daughter do it. But I'm also like, what kind of dad is like, come to this? She's old enough to watch herself.
Sure.
She's fine. I don't know. It was an experience.
All right. Well, it was an experience of boredom.
It was really boring. CGI.
Yeah, and I want to use this to talk a little bit about this 3D high frame rate thing because disaster.
It was terrible.
Stop making these movies in high frame rate. Peter Ang, whoever has a hard on for this.
Right.
When you get home and you're listening to this, turn on your TV and turn the motion smooth, whatever setting all the way up. That's what it looks like. It is fucking hideous. Everything looks fake. Everything moves goofy.
Yep.
Like it almost looks more real than real. Like it's almost like even shit that isn't CGI has that uncanny valley feel to it.
Yep.
And it's fucking ugly and you should stop it right now.
I saw this movie in regular frame rate.
Okay.
And the effects were mostly awful.
Right.
Because there are so many scenes where it's CGI, full CGI, head to toe, Will Smith versus CGI Will Smith.
Okay. See, and I can't even spot that because everything looks so fake to me that it's just
the whole scene in the catacombs. That was almost all
the
CGI.
Fighting and shit. Yeah.
That was almost all CGI.
Oh, that was horrible to watch. That was horrible.
The scene where he falls off his bike and Young is trying to hit him with the bike.
Oh my God.
That was all CGI there. That was straight up garbage. And then there's something that it does narratively.
Well, it's also garbage because you don't care.
Yeah, well, yes.
Right.
Yes. But visually, it was a punch to the face. And the other thing is like narratively, you've set up like he's such a good shot that he can hit a dude on a fucking speeding train. But there's a scene where they're both facing each other in an open courtyard and they're both missing each other.
Well, I don't know. They're both so good at
dodging bullets. Garbage. This movie is garbage. It's the worst kind of movie because, yeah, you're right. It's just so...
There's nothing.
Boring.
Yeah, it's so boring. It's horrible. It was fucking terrible. It really was. It was so hard to watch. Is it going to make my worst of list? Maybe not. Because
Probably not.
No, but it's worse than those. If that makes sense. It's tough to explain, but it's worse. It's not worse objectively, but it's worse to watch because there's nothing enjoyable about watching it.
Right. Well, yeah, it doesn't come around that bend of being so terrible. It's good.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And it doesn't make me mad enough either because I can't feel mad about it.
Well, yeah, you don't feel anything when you leave
Right.
this movie. You're like, well, that was time that I spent on the planet.
Oh, it was bad.
Whoa. Shit we watched.
The only thing I think I have today would be I watched El Camino.
Right.
But I'm thinking you probably want to watch that, right?
I do want to watch
Okay.
it. General thoughts, though.
I thought it was great.
Okay.
I really thought it was good. If you were to tell me, it's basically like a 2-hour long Breaking Bad episode.
Sure.
I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Does it need to exist? No.
Right. Well, does
No.
anything need to exist?
No.
That's what I think that was my big question. And I felt it when I saw the trailer, which is, do we need this? Does it answer questions? Like,
No.
does it have really a value to the show?
It has like,
I mean, are you just happy to be in that world and be
you
with those
are-
characters
it
again?
does have value, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
It
But
has
does
value. It doesn't add anything lore wise that's that important, but it does have value as far as how it made me like feel watching
Sure.
it, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
So
fair enough.
I would say I liked it a lot. I would give it an A-.
Whoa.
I really, really liked it. I thought it was awesome, dude.
Coming out, Netflix coming out with an A-.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I could have given it an A. If somebody gave it an A+, I wouldn't argue with them. It was so great to sit down and turn that on and the characters and all and you're just you can't help but be excited to be watching it.
Sure.
And it makes you sad that it ever ended. Because Breaking Bad is a masterpiece.
It did the smart thing, though, in that it had a story
Right.
and it told it.
And it was done.
And it was done, and that's it.
And there's a reason you were sad when it ended.
Yep.
Because of that. Yes. All right, Dark Season 3. Come on now.
Oh, I'm so pumped. I'm so unbelievably
Just start the
pumped.
hype train now. But yeah, that's all I really watched.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, and I feel bad, but I missed it. But it's been a busy week for me.
Watch it next week.
I caught one thing for half an hour.
Okay.
That's been my viewing for this week. I watched the season premiere of My Hero Academia, the anime that I've been watching.
Okay.
This show is so fucking great.
I got to watch this one, I feel like.
It's it's
I've
totally
heard
not
nothing
gonna,
but awesome about it from people.
it's totally not up your alley. It's totally not.
Okay.
But it was a recap episode, and I just kept thinking, I was like, if every recap episode of every show was as good as this one, the world would be a better place. Like,
This is how you want to save the world.
I mean, it's a small way. It's a small step.
The little Swedish girl who came over about global warming, just give her this DVD and say, hey,
Hey, we can do better.
talk about this.
It's great. It's great because they just do this thing where like this reporter comes in and he kind of interviews these kids who are going to the superhero high school or whatever.
Sure.
And you kind of just like, you get reintroduced to the characters, kind of get reintroduced to the setting and the situation. It just reacclimates you if you haven't seen the show in a while, which I had seen it not too long ago. So I remember, but
Okay.
but just a fun little thing that happened. Not a great episode, but I'm like, you know what? This is probably as bad as it gets, and it's still like a B+, A- kind of episode.
But it's great.
I love it.
So the anime folk out there should definitely be watching
I feel
this.
like if you're an anime fan, you are watching this.
Okay.
If you're not,
So you just added no value to the podcast.
yeah, probably. Well, what did you do with the El Camino? Everybody watched
Well,
that.
maybe no, because there could have been the guy who's like, we don't really need this. I'm taking a stand. I'm done with Breaking Bad. We've got Saul. We've got Breaking Bad. This is a cash grab for Netflix. So that
You already
guy,
have the subscription, bro.
that guy is going to watch it now.
Bro.
Although you saved the world possibly with this show.
I said it was a slightly better world we'd live in.
Hey, that's all it takes.
Yeah. Just small steps like that. But I think that's it for us this week.
That's it.
Yeah.
We have Zombieland 2 this weekend.
Fuck me.
And I guess we'll talk
no
about...
reviews yet.
I think it's already been reviewed.
Has it? What?
I think so.
All right. You know what? On the air, this is happening.
The tomato score? Are you just going to reveal
it's
the
happening
tomato score?
because I checked like 2 days ago and there was nothing, and I was like, "This is going to be a shit show."
Seen, but
no score yet.
Really?
Yep.
Oh God. So no, you're wrong. I don't know what you're looking at.
On my Flickster, I got nothing. But
75%.
What?
75%.
How many reviews?
Well, now I've got an unexpected error, so I can't actually see the reviews, Alex.
God damn.
But it is 75% according to this. We have that, and then hopefully you watch El Camino. We can talk about it next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Maybe do your job for once with the watching. You know, you're going to actually have to edit this whole podcast, but that's not enough.
Fucking hell, man. I have a life. I really don't. I really
go
don't.
to work and that's it. That's life. Remember when you were young and you thought like life was this special thing,
yeah,
and it wasn't just bullshit constantly, constant bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I thought like, I'll just work. Life will just be like now, like get done with work, just like I get done with school, and then my time's my own. False.
No.
I don't even have a wife or kids, and I don't have time for myself.
Yeah. Well, you know.
That's probably on me. You know, it sounds like I'm a Lions fan.
Yeah, sour grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you for bringing that up. We get the Vikings this weekend.
52 reviews.
Well, I'm thinking since we play the Vikings and they're in the division race now with the Packers, that hopefully what the NFL does, since they want the Packers to win, is they throw this one to the Lions because then it gets the Vikings off the Packers' tails.
You know what? You know what? I actually kind of expect the Lions to win because I feel like that's kind of how the Lions season is going to go.
It's going to be a teeter-totter.
It's going to be a crushing defeat by really close mark. I mean, that's how it's been all season so far.
They've led in all 5 games. They've led with little time left, and they've only won 2 games.
Yes, that's what I expect their season to be, is either a crushing defeat within the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, well.
Or a win.
I don't know. You just got to hope they don't quit, because that was one of those games where like you have 2 different paths you can choose.
Right. I don't think they quit, though.
No, I don't think they'll quit either. I think this Matt Patricia kind of knows what he's doing, too. So
there you go. Get on the Lion hype train. They're a wild card this season.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
They're running the table.
The division's just too good, man.
See, this is why Matthew Stafford needs a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in him. We're going to run the table.
Oh, God. He should. He should say it.
I think he should.
His next 4 games.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.